The temporary changes have been designed to discourage unnecessary car journeys and make it easier for people who need to travel in central London to do so. This supports wider temporary changes to the transport network to enable more people to walk and cycle while public transport capacity is constrained by social distancing requirements. TfL is working faster than ever before to deliver safe, segregated cycle routes, to provide more space for pedestrians and to enable the bus network to run as efficiently and smoothly as possible. TfL's 2021-2022 budget does assume, for planning purposes only, that the temporary changes to the congestion charge are retained on the basis that they will still be required as an emergency response to the transport challenges arising from the pandemic, and we're not currently able to predict when this will change. TfL is keeping the temporary changes under constant review, especially as we move through the government's roadmap for easing restrictions. Ultimately, as I've said many times, a long-term funding deal for TfL is essential for London and for the national economy. I've been clear that I'll keep fighting for what's best for Londoners in negotiations with the government, and that includes what the optimal congestion charging arrangements are to support London's economic recovery, ensuring it's a green and sustainable one.
Mr. Mayor, that's not actually what you told LBC about a week or so before the election. My highlight of the entire election campaign was when you U-turned on this policy and you said you wanted to go back to what it was before, i.e. 5 days a week and weekdays. So, to be clear, are you now saying that you will be pushing, as your commitment on the LBC interview, that you will be going back to what the congestion charge was before?
I'm quite clear. The only reason that people are paying congestion charge 7 days a week at £15 up to 10 p.m. is because the government attached as a condition to the funding deal those terms. I want us to be back in charge of what the congestion charge should be. That autonomy means we could decide what works for our city rather than either the Secretary of State, a number 10 advisor, or civil servants in Whitehall or the DfT. We should be deciding what the C charge would be, and you'll be aware by record, before the government intervened, we kept £11.50, we kept it till the times we had before, 5 days a week. The record of my mayoralty is not increasing it to £15 a week unless forced to do so by the government, or 7 days a week, or till 10 p.m. I think Londoners want me in charge of setting the level rather than the government.
So when are you going to reduce it back to when it was?
Well, we're currently speaking to the government about the next funding deal. As I said in answer to the previous question, it's probably not sensible for me to give a running commentary on the deal with the government should we reach one. The key thing is for the government to recognise in the short term we all need support from the government, particularly with the fares revenues not being anywhere near what it was before the pandemic. In the medium to long term, we will need to make sure TfL is on a sustainable financial footing, and I think it's important for us to work together, government and TfL, to make sure we get a good deal for TfL, which is a good deal for London, which is then a good deal for the country.
And will you, when you make that change, I hope you will make the change, you did promise to on LBC, will you also reintroduce the residents' discount, please?
Well, listen, all these things are some of the things we're discussing with the government. If you have any influence over either grant shops, the government, a number 10 advisor, or even the Prime Minister, now's the time to use it.
Well, you're the Mayor of London, Mr. Mayor, and as you have got a mandate, I'm hoping you'll do what you said a week or so before the election, because LBC listeners will be listening. I'll leave it there, Chairman.